So starting off this week, we are starting with the Varrock Hard Diary. I got through most of this last week, but there was a few tasks left. I got my Bone Scepter, which actually took a lot longer than I was expecting. It probably took like an hour to get all the pieces. So once you finish the Hard Varrock Diary, you get an XP lamp worth 15,000 experience. We're going to use that on Slayer. You have to have 50 Slayer to use it, so I didn't have 50 Slayer when I finished the diary, so I just put it down in the bottom of my inventory with the lamp from the museum. You get to buy 60 battle staffs every day from Zaf for 7k each, which depending on prices is usually around 1.5k to 2k profit for every battle staff. That's around 100k profit every day, and it takes like 10 seconds. It's super quick. You have access to the Cook's Guild Bank, which is a pretty nice range right next to a bank, like 1 square away. And then you get the Varrock Plate Body 3, which has a few bonuses. 10% chance of mining 2 ores at once up to Addy, which is the same as the previous plate body we had, except for the ore is a little bit higher. And you also have the 10% chance of smelting 2 bars at once up to Addy when using the Edgeville furnace. And then last week I mentioned to go and do Tarn's Lair. I didn't do that on my account because I forgot. So that is what I did next. I went to Tarn's Lair and finished that little mini quest. You get 5k Slayer experience for finishing it, and then you can get Tarn's Diary. And when you use that on a Salvami, it will imbue it so that it will give 15% attack and strength bonus when you're fighting undead instead of the 10% that the salve used to give. It only applies to melee. To get the range and magic bonus, you have to go to Nightmare Zone to imbue it. And Tarn's Lair is really quick. It probably takes around 5 to 10 minutes. I'll put a link down in the description to a guide to finish it. Next up is the Desert Medium Diary. And for this one, we actually have to have some Nightmare Zone points. So I just went over to Nightmare Zone. I chose to do Endurance, and I put that on Hard. And all you have to do is beat King Rolled, and you should have like 5k points, which is more than enough to buy a redirection scroll. So the rewards from the Medium Diary in the desert is you get the Desert Amulet 2, which gives you 1 free teleport to Narda per day. You get another XP lamp worth 7.5k XP. Use that on Slayer. And the Pharaoh Scepter will now hold up to 5 charges. And next up after that is the Kandaren Medium Diary. And in order to do this one, you're going to have to do a wave of Barbarian Assault. And while doing this, I'd recommend to just finish a whole run all the way up to the Queen. And you'll have to finish an entire run later on anyway for the Hard Diary, so I just recommend to do it all now. I didn't do that because someone in my party, well, actually I left because I forgot to bring a controlled weapon. I was doing the attacker. And then so I left to grab a controlled weapon. I said I'd be back in like 15 seconds, and when I got back everyone was gone, so I have to do wave 1 over again, which is a little bit of wasted time. And then the reward from this diary, you get 10% extra experience when cutting maple trees in Sears Village. You have 33% faster spinning at the Sears Village spinning wheel. Flaxkeeper will exchange 60 noted flax daily for 60 noted bowstrings. That's probably not really worth it. I imagine you make what, like 100 GP per things. Coal trucks hold 280 coal. 10% more marks of grace from the Sears Village agility course, and 5% higher yield from the Catherby herb pack. And then the XP lamp, of course, which you want to use on Slayer. And then last week I said that we would have to do Enlightened Journey before we did the RD Medium Diary, but apparently I've already done that quest on this account and I just forgot. So up next is the RD Medium Diary. And in order to do one of the tasks in this diary, you're going to have to travel to Castle Wars with a hot air balloon, which will unlock the ability to travel from Castle Wars to some other place. I'll put a link down in the description for that. And then the rewards from the RD Medium Diary is the RD Cloak 2, which has some okay stats. It has some prayer bonus and some stab and magic attack and defense. And with that cape, you get 3 daily teleports to the RD Farm Patch. And of course, the unlimited to the monastery that you already had. Get the XP lamp, 7.5k XP, use that on Slayer. You should be over 50 Slayer at this point, which means you can use those 2 lamps that we've been saving. Put those both on Slayer as well, and you should be 52 Slayer at least. Another reward is you get 100 free noted pure essence every day from the wizard comp tree. Once again, this isn't really worth it unless you're like an Iron Man. You get further noted drops from the Tower of Life, 10% increased chance to pickpocket an Artie, ability to toggle the Ring of Life teleport to Artie, and you receive additional runes when crafting essence at the Orenia altar, which is ZMI. So after that, we're going to go and do some smithing, just about finish off all the smithing that we need. We're going to be going from level 40 up to level 73. Now that we have our goldsmith gauntlets from Family Crest, we can use the best smithing method in the game, which is the blast furnace. We used this earlier on in this series, so you should know how to use it fairly well. I'll still probably put a link down in the description on a guide to use the blast furnace. We need 75 smithing for one of the hard diaries, but we still have some quests to do that give smithing experience, so I'm just going to stop off at 73 for now. And after we're all done with quests, I'll go back and finish off any XP we have left to 75. So from 40 to 73, we'll use a little over 17,000 bars. I'd buy a little bit extra just in case you mess up. This takes about 3 hours and 20 minutes if you average 290k XP per hour. This will cost us about 4.5 mil. So next we're gonna go on to fishing, and the place we're gonna fish at is the Barbarian fishing area. This is just south of Barbarian Assault. Before you're able to use the barbarian fishing, you got to begin the barbarian training and talk to the guy Otto and ask about fishing with a rod, and then you search his bed and you find a fishing rod, and then you can go and use that and start using this fishing method. You literally have to go through like a couple chat options and then you can use this method. I'll put a link to a guide for barbarian training. You do not have to go through all of it. In fact, you don't have to go through really any of it. Just simply ask about the fishing with rods, and that's all you have to do for now. I would buy about 10k feathers. We're going to be using 3-tick fishing for this method. You use your guam on your tar, and yeah, you guys all should know what that is at this point if you've been watching these videos. I bring alks with me, but it doesn't really work out that well, so I just started doing fishing only. We need level 70 for a diary requirement, although we do still have some quests that give us XP, so I'm going to be stopping about 20k XP off of level 70. This week I was able to go from 58 to level 63, and that takes about 2 hours and 25 minutes if you're getting 60k XP per hour. And the reason why we're doing fishing right now is because this fishing method actually gives us strength experience and agility experience. So it's more efficient to do this first before we start training our combat much. And that is it for this week. So thank you all for watching, and see you in the future videos.